Melvin Gordon tried to play a little hardball with the Chargers, and they ain't budging. He may have overplayed his hand at this point. Trade rumors for Melvin Gordon now. Last week it was Jadeveon Clowney. Now we got Gordon, who has been kind of lost in the shuffle with his holdout because of what's happening with Ezekiel Elliott and Cabo. So Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, well, he did a little digging on the Melvin Gordon trade market, and the only offer he came across was from Philly. And in that potential deal, Jordan Howard would go to LA, the teams would swap mid-round picks, and the Chargers would eat salary. LA obviously said no. And then a follow-up tweet here, there hasn't been much action on Gordon, and that's not because he can't play. It's because there aren't teams willing to fork over draft capital and the kind of money Gordon wants. You could deal for him as a one-year rental, but as the Philly offer shows, that lessens his trade value. Okay, my thoughts on this, all right? The Eagles are trying to be like the Patriots. The Patriots like to trade for players on the final year of their deals, so they let them walk in free agency, and they get a compensation pick in return. This is a way you can add draft picks without having to pay for it. I mean, you're paying for it, but at least you're getting Melvin Gordon for a year. This was my thought process last week with Jadeveon Clowney. You bring him in for the year, you let him walk as a free agent, and you get a third-round comp pick because he's going to sign a monster contract. Same thing here. Gordon, when he's going to be a free agent, he's probably going to get somewhere between $10, $11, $12 million a season, something like 4 years, $45, $50 million. Philadelphia, obviously, is not going to give him that kind of money. But for this season alone, to trade Jordan Howard to bring Melvin Gordon in, you'd have Gordon, you'd have Miles Sanders, Darren Sproles, and Corey Clement. That's a pretty good quartet there. As for Gordon as a player and kind of what he brings to the table, so this is going to be his 5th year in the NFL. Last year was the first year that he eclipsed 4 yards a carry. He actually had 5.1 yards per carry. Obviously, a career year for Gordon. He's at his best on the second level. He makes people miss. He's got a great jump cut. He likes to bounce runs to the outside. And the biggest part of his game that's really come a long way since Wisconsin has been his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. So that's been key for him. And, much was made over the weekend about Instagram and how Gordon was following a couple Eagles. And, I really didn't look that much into it because one of the players that he followed was Corey Clement. And Clement, obviously, a Wisconsin Badger, just like Melvin Gordon was. So I was just like, well, they're probably just friends, and that's what it was. And, well, maybe it is a little bit more than that. But this isn't something where I think Howie Roseman is going to up his trade offer. I think Howie – we see this. Like, it seems like every single guy that's out on the open market, the Eagles are interested. They are involved. Howie Roseman is calling, looking to see what the trade market and value is of that particular player. I mean, this is something where the Eagles may not be really, really that interested in Melvin Gordon, but they're going to keep an eye on the situation. Because let's say about a month from now, Melvin Gordon still isn't playing. He's still holding out. All of a sudden, this deal that was turned down a month ago all of a sudden may look a little bit more appealing because you're getting closer to the trade deadline. And the closer you get to the trade deadline, the more leverage that Philadelphia would have in a particular deal. So if somebody wants to overpay for Gordon, fine. All right? The Eagles are not going to be that team. The Eagles are going to be the team that are going to be lurking around, and if the Chargers can't find a deal with anybody, then they're just going to take what they can get, and that's what the Eagles' offer would be. So if Gordon comes to Philly, that's how it would work, because there's really no need to bring a running back in. He would be the best running back on the roster, however, so you bring him in for a year, but you're not going to overpay for him with draft capital because you need the draft capital. You need it. Carson Wentz, you just paid him. Fletcher Cox making over $100 million. those draft picks are going to be imperative. The Eagles have the third oldest roster in the NFL. So that's something you want to keep in mind here. So I know there are a lot of people, they want Melvin Gordon and, all that, but this isn't something where you want to give up 2 draft picks for a guy and then, miss out on some potential players you can get in the future. I mean, it's very possible that Miles Sanders could be a better running back than Melvin Gordon. It's very possible. So just keep that in mind. I don't think this is something that is going to happen, at least not right now. I would think that another team would have a better offer. Even if you look back at the Clowney thing from last week and what it took to get him, it was a 3rd and 2 players. Obviously, the Eagles weren't as interested as we may have all thought, considering the price for Clowney wasn't that much. And Eagles didn't get him. So this could be the same kind of situation again, where Howie's just doing his due diligence. And if the price is right, pun intended, then you make the move. So that's how I feel about it. Adrian Fedkiw out. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Would you want Gordon? Would you want to bring him in? What would you be willing to give up to get him? Curious what you think below. So that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.